make it a day out.
last time.
I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived for this meeting to begin. I call it order. I'm going to ask Mr. Johnson to give us the please.
Father, once again, we thank you for allowing us to come to be together to handle the city business. I ask you for knowledge and wisdom that we make them right and speak. I ask you to bless those that are sick and shed and the bereaved. Soldiers on the battlefield, our city, state, and nation. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of the nation.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, council, you've got the agenda before you. Is there any modifications to the agenda? Hearing none, I entertain a motion that we approve it as printed.
So moved.
Mr. Johnson moved that we approve it as printed. Ms. Leggett seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we've got our work cut out for us. I believe Mr. Raymond, you're first.
At the Monday meeting, we had the review of the golf committee. I have studied it a great deal since we left as the options that are before us. I was not pleased with option one. Option one, we would not only still incur all of the expenses that we've always had, but we would end up incurring much more with the advent of getting a golf pro. Now, I'm not going to say that's not what needs to be done, because I think somebody that needs to know the golf itself from A to Z is needed out there. But I don't see this continuing to throw money that direction without all that. The third option, I did not like that one because I thought that it would be a case that it may be a golf course for a short period of time. And then the third option being that he would probably build houses and sell and be dissolved as a golf course. So I'm looking at number two as an option, at least with option to buy as a case. As I looked at it, it would give our community still a golf course. Not only would it give our community one golf course, but it would be tied in with two others that this man owns. And you could play, if you was a member there, you could play at any of the three. I like that type of an option. He also, one of the concerns that I did have was it staying as a golf course. And even in his statement and section he's got there, he said if it ceases to operate as a golf course, that we would have first refusal. And basically it would come back to the city if he ever changed it or had intentions to change it from a golf course. He also has experience not only with golf but with restaurants, and he wants to make the community center a very viable place for people to be able to use more than just golfing, but as a nice restaurant that would be there. So with all that me running my mouth, I'm going to make a motion that we entertain option two.
Second.
And let legal take it over and get it done.
I believe it's seconded by Mr. Bloodworth and thirded by Ms. Leggett. Okay, is there any further discussion about it?
Just one question.
Well, my thing is, I like number three, but anyway, I don't play golf anyway, so I'll settle for number two.
Okay, Mr. Dunn.
Just one question. I'm glad that we're looking at the golf course and all, but have we actually considered the entire city, or we got the rec department? And I believe, and in fact I'm sure, that they can get money to run this place. Have we talked about that?
Let me ask you this, the sum with the real estate, is that something we can handle out here, or do we have to take that in executive session?
Probably with real estate, it would go on into the executive session, but my motion was to proceed with number 2 through legal. Let them, and then we can go in there and do that.
I mean, the reason I was asking, because we was in a discussion, but, I thought that, I didn't know we was gonna do it this quick. I thought they were gonna do it about a month or so. I didn't know.
I like the motion with the second. I'm just concerned about the amount. That's what I was.
Well, all of that, I think, still, we've got to iron out, and legal would be there.
So we're not agreeing to the terms of number 2,
No,
we're just agreeing that
option of that.
I stand.
That's the option we're
I'll
going
stand
with.
with my second then on that.
Wayne, with reference to your question about going to the county and board and other agencies, we had the chairman of the county commissioner was part of this advisory committee. And he went back to the commissioners, as we studied and went through this, they were asked about this, will you do this? And each time he came back and told the committee that the commissioners were not in favor of having any part of it. Also, on that advisory committee was the superintendent of schools, Dr. Broken. And he told us that he could not invest or spend money in other than the school facilities and equipment, that he could, for the golf team, for having them to have a place to play golf on, he could participate in that sort of way. So I think to answer your question, this advisory committee and this report that you got, all those avenues, everything that they could find was pursued, and we struck out completely with any help. And the only 3 options that we had were the 3 that's been.
Well, I admire this particular option, but y'all, my personal feeling to my fellow councilman, it really hurts me, it really, really, really bothers me that we got a place. If I don't care if the adults don't go out there, ever since I've been on this council, I remember one night, and this came up before, and there was an attorney, and his children, they were playing ball from the school. And their thing was, if we don't do nothing but keep it where the children can come. That's what we voted on. But for us in this county, not to look and see that you got a school board, you got a county commission, you got a city, you got a development authority, you got all these people, and you don't keep something even for the children to come. But the one have to show it all is bad, Commissioner. But I admire what you said, because that keeps us together, keep it in. And one time before, this is the option that they brought before us. Now, I thought, but I won't go back what it was years ago, but I done got old and but there was a gentleman that was going to buy that golf course at that time. But for the simple fact was he was going to get it and wasn't going to come back to the city. They didn't allow it to go through. But I admire what Mr. Ramey just said. I think that this land ought to stay with us. But for God's sake, Hazelhurst, Jeff Davis County, please, we got to pull together to keep something for our people. I don't play golf. I don't see no sense in hitting a little ball in the hole and picking it up. But we got to have something here, y'all. We just can't continue to die. As I told y'all before, the best job in Hazelhurst now is undertaking. You come here to retire and die, and that's wrong. We got enough people that can pull together and do these things. There's enough money to do it. And I'm pouring my heart out to this entire city and county to think about some of the things we're doing. But I admire what y'all say. I go along with it. I just want to know if we had looked into that option.
Thank you. Another thing too, in discussion about this, that I think the council, and you mentioned it briefly, there is a possibility, and I don't know this now, there is a possibility with option 2 that with the transaction of all that the man is trying to do with the golf course And it's definitely in fact, everybody on that committee, including the commissioner, said they wanted to keep the golf course. So somebody didn't get his people to participate in the finances of it. But now here's the thing and this is the reason I'm sorry that our attorney couldn't be here. But here's the thing that they said during this number 2 option that we're voting on, that it may be that we need to convey the golf course to the industrial authority because they can offer some tax incentives and benefits and things that will help this man to develop what he's wanting to do. So there's a lot of legality, just like Mr. Bloodworth brought this up, and what all is going on. There's a lot in the legalities of getting this thing worked up for this gentleman that's in the golf course business. So that there's a lot of work that's got to be done. And of course, Mr. Ramey acknowledged that all he's saying is he thinks this is the right area for us to pursue. And with us, if we approve the motion that's on the floor, I think the attorney will take over again and get with the party and with us and work out the arrangement that it will be finalized.
Well, mentioning that too, I just happened to be in a meeting with Chris Roper today, and he liked the idea of having 3 golf courses that they could play, giving them an option to meet different challenges as the students of golf clubs. Whatever that means, that's just happened to run into it today.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for vote. All in favor of Mr. Raymond's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, Mr. Raymond's motion is carried. We'll notify our attorney to begin working on it. Okay. Ms. Raines, you've been handling this ethics committee process and informing us on what everybody's to do. Would you take over on that, please?
Yes, sir. Going back to our meeting Monday night, as you know, we have an ordinance for an ethics committee. It consists of about 9 pages. We'll go back to section 6, stating that there are to be 3 residents of the city living within the city limits of Hazelhurst, 1 appointed by the mayor, 1 appointed by the city council, and the 3rd appointed by the mayor and approved by a majority of the city council. Anyone is welcome to have a copy of this ordinance, and now it's up to you as mayor and council to give selections so that if nothing else, next month y'all can vote on this and let's get this committee in place.
Okay.
I think Dwayne had,
I mentioned the name was Miss
Marjorie Hill.
I'm sorry. And I asked the council to consider her.
Okay, while you're doing that, then I can put another nomination the council that approved. I have Ms. Lenita Thompson has agreed to serve with y'all's approval. So that will be 2. And then I've also got the final one that I appoint directly, and that's Mr. Bridges, the owner of Hardy's Drugstore. He's agreed to serve. Mr. Bridges has agreed to serve, and that's my appointee that I have the prerogative of appointing myself. And then if you would, I think with my nomination of Lenita Thompson and his with Ms. Hill, you've got 2 nominations that you can approve or disapprove.
Move that they be approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, second. Further discussion?
I don't really know these people. Who are they?
Margie Hill is a former teacher. She's been a teacher in several different school systems. Hazelhurst is her home. Do you know Bob Hill? Do you know Robert Hill? Okay, this is a prominent family that's been here for years, and she's here now. Her mother passed on, but she's still living here in Margie. She has a lot of, I think she's continuing her mother's column in the paper she was.
And who was the other person?
Lenita Thompson, Walter Thompson.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Lenita. So we got Lenita and Miss Hill.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we'll call on for a vote to approve these two parties to serve on the Ethics Committee. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, those two are appointed, and I have the prerogative of putting Mr. Bridges along with the three, so the committee is in place, and we'll notify them, Ms. Vernice, when they can be brought in and sworn in.
Okay. I will make sure to get a copy of the ordinance. Also, GMA has a handbook out there. I will print that off and get that to them. It'll give them a lot more information.
You might do that because both of my people that I've dealt with, both Lenita and Mr. Bridges, I gave them copies of the ordinance, so they have that before.
Ms. Hill has a copy of it.
So
Okay.
Still want that other.
The book, okay.
any other thing that you think they might have, you'll get it together. We'll
Yes,
see what they get.
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, very good, let's move on. All right, now the water issue on the Broxton Highway, as we talked about that Leslie Drive primarily.
Yes, sir, but I do not see the citizen here that was wanting to be at the meeting to discuss that.
A couple of calls from out that area where the people that live in the houses say that their water drainage, I mean, they don't have any water pressure, and they were wondering why.
I know, I'll tell you why, we all know why.
Well, I mean, I knew why, but I didn't voice.
Well, you see what happened, that the owner of the property began selling to people, telling them that water was available. But it is available in the city of Edgelhurst, which is a few, 200 or 300 or so many feet away. And so they had people moving out there, and there's no plumbing out there. And so they had to put in septic tanks, and they went out there and invested in a mobile home. So this is mobile homes on that road. In fact, all of them are, I think. And they bought the property and had their trailer and their mobile home and had a septic tank down and was looking at their total water was available. And so Chris and I felt sorry for them. Said, Lord, must have made a mess, and we managed to skip barely hook up the line. And the next thing we know, they just more and more and more. And now it's got to the point of that little small line that Chris and I kept thinking that we don't know what we're going to do with this mess, and we've been struggling with it. As y'all know, we've discussed it before.
Is this the one with the multiple residences?
Yeah,
Yes.
the line, yes. But now
Got
last
several
week,
of them out there, but the key word that he just said was temporary water system. And glorified way of saying it, it's a garden hose that's connecting them out there on top of the ground. But it was never meant to be a permanent situation anyway. It's a temporary.
Now, one of the ladies called me back, and she says, my water pressure's back. I said,
oh, good,
okay.
that's good. Everybody must have some
Yeah.
good heading off.
Well, I told her, I sure was glad
But
about
let me tell you
that.
where we are. The one of the big owners, we'll say out there, or a major owner, has contacted all of the people and said that everyone will sign a petition to annex into the city. And so if you remember,
Well, that was my next question.
we've told the attorney some time ago, and he's the person is supposed to get all these deeds ready, and the attorney's working on it, to annex all of Leslie, every property owner on Leslie Drive has got to request annexation.
What, Leslie Way, or what is it?
Well, you talk about the other street that your party's on. I don't know what the name of that street is, but that,
Ashley Way.
what is it?
Ashley Way
Ashley
and
Way.
Leslie
Ashley
Way.
Way.
Now would be a time, I can tell you, while all this is going on, if those people want city services and the garbage and stuff like you wanted, that you've mentioned before, but now would be the time for them to annex into the city while we're doing this. Now, another thing that of course, I ought to have already thought of this, but I happened to do about a week ago. Every one of those people qualify in the low-income group, which entitles that whole area, all the way around that circle, for CDBG, Community Development Block Grant.
Or we won't never get no water. I mean, no more.
Well,
Don't go by Jay's income.
but we can now get a hold of, and particularly if they pursue and get all the people, and even Thomas Wooten still owns a small tract, and he's ready to sign that he will annex his as well. So if we get all that annexed, then get the engineer to go around there and design a system and make application for a CDBG grant. And it used to be limited to $750,000, but they've upped it now where we can get $1 million CDBG grant. They should qualify. And we've got an avenue that we can provide the right kind of service out there.
But could they not go ahead and start on it to try to get it in before?
No, you can't start that. And we've already started too much. We've already overstarted out there. Now,
One of the things that I would like to add to it, if we do that, we
Now, are they
need to do
gonna have
it, we need to do it
trash
right.
pickup?
We need to make sure that they have fire protection out there too.
Yeah.
So you got to have a line that's big enough to support that fire protection, as well as being able to run off of it to how many ever people need in the future.
absolutely. Okay, so that, we've got a lady now that Ms. Bernice was expecting to be here. I think she'd come in and, given the ladies in the office quite a fit about it. And I think that we all together kind of explained the situation. But she's bought the home, done everything, and ready to move in, and thought she had water. And she's sitting out there with a nice home and with no water. So it is a critical situation. It is a very critical situation. And we explained to the lady we're sorry, ma'am.
Now, are we offering the trash pickup?
Well, we haven't got that far along yet.
Well,
If they annex.
all you can do is drive that truck out there.
Okay.
We just drive out there and get it.
Come get mine.
Okay, I think we've done all the explaining we can do about this at this time. Let's move on. All right, now, Chris, I believe you're next on the lift station inspection and maintenance.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to see if you guys would allow me permission to have an outside source come in, give us a thorough inspection of all our lift stations, all our problems. Also, they can diagnose some potential problems for the near future, or maybe even long term. They do a full diagnostics over the whole thing. And they can do that. I think it was $2,900 and some odd dollars, and we have a big inspection coming up where basically whatever is not done with these stations will be found in violation of EPD standards and that sort of thing.
Have we had anybody been doing this? And
We do our in-house stuff that just go out and make sure it's working. But this is more in-depth, more specialized than what we do. They can give you a potential life expectancy of the pumps as they are. This one you plan on replacing it in a year or 6 months, or you're good for maybe 5 years.
They keep up with everything.
Yep. And they do that for the whole electrical system in that station, and they give us a breakdown of it.
And it's $2,900
Just inspection.
annual.
This is you can do it as often as you want, but this was just a one-time deal.
Well, how often should they be?
I'd love to tell you every year, but I don't think we'd have to do it quite that often.
Isn't this also the same fellow that we've engaged with the contractor
Yes,
to
sir.
redo so we know this individual. He's a highly trained, capable technician. He's actually redoing completely all of the electrical system with our old well, the Odom well, Odom Street well down there that's been offline for some time. And he's just a super electrical engineer, and he knows the well business, and he's done a super job. He'll have us back online almost immediately. Right.
You'll also take away some of the technology if needed that's over our ability to handle and simplify it.
In other words, what he's saying there is that some of the more sophisticated type electrical components has been put in with some of these systems, and a more practical Hazelhurst electrical system will be easier for us to maintain, and he'll get all that taken care of as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Chris, in the past history, didn't we have somebody that came in one time before they'd done that a couple times for us?
We've had a lot of different electricians come in and do things for us.
I thought a company actually came in one time.
Well, they come in and
did that.
they reworked several of our lift stations. I don't remember the exact number, and updated them.
I thought they inspected them and.
Well, EPD comes in pretty regular, does it? And like I say, it's due. And even if we had more problems than we could handle fixing at this time, in my opinion, we would have an outside source and a plan of attack of what we needed to handle and at least be in the process of accomplishing that.
Okay, the proposal that Chris has put before us is that this technician that we know what his capabilities are, will take upon himself 28 lift stations?
27,
20-something.
I think.
Well, at any rate, every lift station we've got, even the little small ones, and go around and check and check condition on for a very reasonable price. Like I say, he's already in town doing this other work. So, is there any further discussion on it?
I move that it be approved and.
All right, the motion made by Mr. Ramey, that it be approved, second by Mr. Bloodworth, and thirded by Ms. Ledger. Okay?
Thank y'all.
Okay, any further discussion? Wait a minute, haven't voted on it yet. You haven't got it yet.
I'm sorry?
That's faith, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? No opposition? Now you got it.
Thank y'all again.
Okay, Ms. Leggett, you're next, number 5.
Now, I didn't write me down anything. This, our streets are in a mess. Now, I'm not joking. And if there's a pothole in the road, I'm gonna hit it. I don't know why, but my car just goes right on over there to it. And, stop signs kind of get in my way too, but anyway, I will try to leave stop signs standing up next time. But, we do need these streets seen about, the potholes and the, where you turn from one street into the next street. If you don't watch it, there's a hole over there, and like I said, if it's there, I'm gonna hit it. So, I mean, we just need to work on these streets, and it's not just my area, it's all of, I don't know how First Baptist, that is unreal. I came across that thing the other day, and it was like, if these low cars, it's gonna get them that front fender or whatever that is under there. It's gonna get some of it, and it's in bad shape. It's right there at the Autumn Hall Bank, and coming from the cemetery. It's not as bad as what's over at First Baptist, but I'm gonna tell you, that's a rough spot. I don't even come across that street if I don't have to. I just, but I think we do. And don't get me wrong now, I've been to other places and their streets are in just as bad a shape as ours is. But, I mean, that's them and them, but I just think that we ought to try to get our streets in shape. Am I wrong, Mayor?
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong at all.
Okay.
The streets, the sign, we need a lot of work there.
Going back
Well,
to
that's
the,
your area over by First Baptist, John.
Not really.
That is area.
It's mine.
that's Commissioner Johnson.
Oh, yours, okay. Well, I give it to you, but it's in rough shape.
And yet, I have discussed that numerous times with the supervisor about how we can get in there to, I'm gonna say it, to smooth it out. On that highway, the outside gets some down, that's a state highway, but I don't care. We can get in here and take concrete or something and smooth it out with our hands or something. It can be smoothed out.
Well, I don't know who got paid to do this, but, I believe I could have done a better job, and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But, we have got to get these streets in shape. Are we gonna be paying more bills than what we wanna pay? Thank y'all.
Okay, anything else?
I entertain a motion that we try to get this done.
Motion's been made that says we get the streets repaired.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing opposition? And you've got a motion to get it done, Ms. Laney.
Yes, sir.
All right, now then, the next, I'm gonna ask that we approve the next three items: the water and sewer adjustments, report to council, and the check register.
Offer motion.
Mr. Johnson made a motion that we approve items 6, 7, and 8.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Raymond. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing opposition, carried. Okay, citizens' comments. Everybody's mighty quiet.
Okay.
Okay, Councilman, you're.
Well, before you move on down to council, there's three things I'd like to address with the council, and the people in attendance. The GMA convention, I received an email today from Miss Sherry Bailey. Registration for that will begin at the end of March. They're anticipating March the 30th. So I will be printing off your transcripts. You need to be looking over those, and we will work toward that.
Tell me this is.
The GMA convention is in June in Savannah, but I only have like 5 minutes to get all of you all registered for that. So we will be working diligently with that.
Let me
We don't
interrupt you,
understand.
let me interrupt you just a minute. Chief, I smell something electrical burning. Don't
I do too.
I do too.
Would you check it for me?
You got something burning?
Yeah, I can smell it pretty strong. Would you go down the halls and see if you can see a problem for me, please? I know
I smell it for some secret too.
These are not ballot flies. It's not a bitch. Yeah, I smell it right here.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
I do.
It's not out there?
It's here.
You think maybe one of the ballasts is burned out?
No, they're not ballasts. They're not ballasts.
Well, I know we got something melted somewhere.
I don't smoke, y'all,
Okay.
when you got.
I think go ahead and get through with what you're doing before we can.
Okay, second, I need the council's attention on this, please. Second, as you know, Miss Lori Williams suffered a stroke December the 30th, okay? I've been very in touch with her. Throughout this process, I also learned that once we had Cassell, who is our computer program that does our billing, collects our money, puts our bills out there, all of this, there was no formal training at all given to not one employee through Cassell. It was refused. Who refused it? I don't know. That was prior to me. I cannot answer that question. We went through one billing when Lori was sick the first time, pre-COVID. We got into the same situation again just recently. I contacted Cassell and spoke to Sarah Dillon, a client relationship manager. On March the 27th through March the 29th, Cassell will be here to train for utility management, cash receiving, accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, human resources, and there will be cross-training. There will be no reason that, Randy, you will be involved with this too, sweetie. Even though she's with the fire department, she is a backup for us up here. Utility management is where the public works building. That's where we send out the bills to collect our money. Cash receiving is up here, okay? Accounts receivable, public works. Accounts payable up here. The others fall pretty well up under me when it comes to the general ledger, human resources, and so on and so forth. There is a fee for this. I understand we watch our pennies, but if we do not get these people here and we do not get this cross-training in, we possibly could be in another situation as this happens. I can give you any information on this you need, but I have already scheduled this. So if anybody has
Just a minute. Go ahead.
any questions, please ask me.
He's hard-headed.
Okay, now that we've interrupted you, Charles, tell us what's happened, but
Probably there. In the box right
you want to pull it out?
It's fine, it ain't gonna catch on fire right now, it's just something short, it's hot on the bottom of the box right here. But
So Kim, can you contact Casey, please?
You finish up, man.
Okay,
I'll sit here.
all right.
Good idea.
Y'all want to take a vote on this? I've already done it. I'll just ask for forgiveness if I need to.
All right, Ms. Furnish has asked for a motion to approve the sale training, they coming in here, what is the, that she's got the dates and everything?
March the 27th through the 30th, actually, it's
All
a
right,
full
you
week.
even know what the cost is gonna be.
Yes, sir. $4,000 plus travel.
Okay, I entertain a motion that we authorize this, the sale, enter, what's the terminology I'm looking for?
Training orientation.
And also, exchange of duties,
Cross-training.
cross-training, thank you. Cross-training, we need that as well, so that a person, for instance, you take Ms. Lori Williams, been with the city for many, many years, highly qualified person. She was the only person that could get the water bills out. Those things, we have $200,000 worth of income every month that has to go into the mail, and she was the only person that knew how to do it. So when she was out sick and was unable to do it, now you talked about a mess, but we were in one heck of a mess, but we managed with our IT person and getting different people to help us. We managed to, 3 different times, we've been able to get, in fact, with Casel's help, we had to get Casel on the phone as well to sort of help guide us through. But we've managed to, on 3 different months now, and we've got it down there where we can do it, by the way. We've got it covered.
But I think that's an excellent idea to
Cross-train?
cross-train
Absolutely.
everybody
Yeah.
that can be.
Okay, with that, we got a motion, did we get a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Lee has made the motion, seconded by Mr. Rainier, that we go ahead and approve Ms. Thompson's decision here to get this done. Is there any further discussion about it?
Hey, since I'm sitting there, can I discuss it?
Sir?
Just don't take Brandy away from me.
I'm not going to take her away permanently. I just need her.
No more than what we're already doing. Okay, all right, all in favor of approving this motion, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, Ms. Bernice, you've got away with it. Now
Thank you.
go ahead, what you got next?
The last item, I received an email yesterday from Ms. Kay Love with Georgia Cities, the GMA Embrace Civility Initiative. I printed off the email plus the attached documents that she sent to me. I'm requesting mayor and council to take this home, read it, study it. We will have a resolution next month. GMA is really pushing this right now. Just take it home and read it. That's all I
That'll be
got.
an item on agenda, on next month's agenda here.
Yes.
Okay.
I have something.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
give me a short update on Lori so we can put it on Facebook?
I talked to her
General.
I talked to her yesterday. She's doing fairly well. She is still having struggles with her speech as well as swallowing. She will go March the 1st and have her feeding tube removed. She's to go March the 6th, I believe. I've got all this written down in my office, and I'm sorry if I
I
mess
will
up
put
on
all
the
that on
dates.
there, just general.
Yeah. Her comment to me was she's going to her physician to see when he can tell her to come back to work.
Bless her heart.
And other than that, she is still in a wheelchair. She has a long road ahead of her. A long road.
Thank you.
It also affected her vision tremendously. She may end up having to have surgery on one of the eyes if not both.
Ms. Lori's had a very serious situation, all right. Okay, now, anything else on your desk now that we need to handle?
No, sir.
Okay, council, y'all got anything
Just
on?
remember now, we're
Oh.
gonna have,
I forgot to mention a while ago, are they still working on the redevelopment? Us, that deep hole over there. Steve McKee.
But you and I were discussing this the other day, and you were saying a few things about it.
Wrong department.
Honestly, if somebody wavered in that road there, that would be a big tear up.
Yes, ma'am.
Being she brought this up, why hadn't that already been prepared?
The one that we was talking about,
I said, being she brought this up, why hasn't that one particular area already been repaired?
the one, that's the one with that pipe, right?
With the gas line
Okay,
exposed.
no, what it was, and that may be my fault, I should have talked to the council. We had an engineer that looked at, Benjamin Knowles are supposed to be starting to work on it.
Okay.
That is supposed to be taken care of, and I should have brought it back, you know, and said what we were doing, but the engineer, Mr. Turnsi Knowles looked at Benjamin was tied up anyway. They've already made plans and started getting things together to start fixing it. All that's been taken care of.
Well, the clerk told me that y'all had, that talked to an engineer, but I told them they needed to quit talking and go to work.
But it's supposed to be.
Okay, anything else?
I apologize. The only thing I would say that we're gonna have that meeting at 8 for the, for our grant, yes. And the nine, sorry.
Yeah, that's in the paper already.
1 o'clock, and it'll be here.
Yeah, that's in this week's paper. Okay, anything else? Okay, Mr. Johnson, I believe you're ready.
Oh, I don't know, she can go on.
Motion made, second, we go home, all in favor, say aye.
Say aye. I mean, aye.
We're adjourned.